When Ray Ackerman was a little boy growing up outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he dreamed of being a fireman, a baseball player, and a policeman. He never even thought about a fighter pilot or an ad man. Ray Ackerman grew up in the middle of the Great Depression, but he didn't have a depressing childhood.
They used to have a boys' day at Pittsburgh Pirates Forbes Field, baseball. You got in for nothing. And it cost 15 cents for me to get 2 streetcar checks, one to get out there, took an hour and a half, and one to get home. And then my mother, that was 15 cents, and then my mother gave me a dime, which bought one hot dog and 1 ice cream bar. For 25 cents, she was rid of me from 10 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night.
When Ray grew up, in spite of his dad's love of the Navy, Ray went to Army camp first.
This Army camp for a month, slogging through the mud, trying to keep your rifle dry and stuff like that, didn't sound as good as clean sheets on a ship. So I took up the Navy and like any kid about that age, flying airplanes seemed like the thing I wanted to do, and so I just fell in love with flying airplanes without not ever having been in one. To get into naval aviation, you had to be a graduate of the Naval Academy when the war started. 2 days later, you just had to be a college graduate. About a week later, you just had to have 2 years of college, and about a month later, you just had to be able to pass an intelligence test. That's how badly they needed pilots. So I got into that ball game right away.
He went from gunner to high-altitude bombardier to fighter pilot, and when he left active duty in 1947, he moved to Oklahoma City and met a pretty girl named Lou.
And then she asked me to go to a family picnic on the 4th of July, and 3 months after I met her, I got engaged. I took her into church and out before the vigil light and said to her, when you get married, how many children do you think you'd like to have? And she said, I've been thinking about something like 6. And I said, that's what I was thinking too, will you marry me? And she said, yeah. And so the following June, we got married, and the rest is history. We had 7 kids, and we have 11 grandkids. And I was here for life.
After working at Opubco for 5 years, he moved to an ad agency billing $250,000 in 1952. 2 years later, he bought it and built it to $6 million, and then partnered with the father-son team of Marvin and Angus McQueen. When Ray retired, the agency was billing $92 million, and today bills $250 million with agencies throughout the U.S. By this time, he retired from the Navy, and he was a brigadier admiral. Ray has served on 20 non-for-profit boards as president, chairman, or campaign leader. Apart from family, Ray considers a plan for Oklahoma City's future that he and the other Chamber Board of Directors designed in 1990 to be his most significant accomplishment.
We came up with a plan called Visions for a New Frontier, which the mayor later changed to the name of MAPS, and including changing the concept of the string of pearls for the river to what we have right now in the Oklahoma River. And of that plan, the river and the canal was my particular personal thrust. In wanting to keep Devon Energy in Oklahoma City, Larry Nichols was concerned about being able to merge and move other companies here because management and employees would not like this, quote, nothing to do, unquote, city. So when he got familiar with the MAPS plan, though, he looked at it, particularly the river development part, and he thought, if we can work this out, we're going to stay here. When I saw this artist's rendering of the Devon building in the paper just a few weeks ago, I thought, bingo! Larry Nichols was right. They're here to stay. And we owe 3 cheers to the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce, the City of Oklahoma City, in making this happen. And I personally have been proud to have been part of the action.
It took Ray 11 years to get the name of the river changed from North Canadian to the Oklahoma River. But it was Mr. Gaylord who gave him the title of his biography.
I was the one of the leaders in the development, in getting the river developed. The day that the big color picture on the front page of the paper, the opening of the canal, and hordes of people around trying to get their canal rod and everything. Some guy took me to lunch out at Gaillardia, and sitting at another table was Mr. Gaylord and Ed Julian. And as I walked by on my way out, he looked up and smiled, and he said, "Old Man River."
For his determined frontier spirit, his patriotism and service to his country, his creative imagination, and his vision and achievement for our city, we are honored to award Ray Ackerman with the Lifetime Achievement Award.